Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm reading this morning. The Rooney family, Art Rooney II, said securing a quarterback is the key and that he wants the Steelers to either sign Justin Fields or Russell Wilson to a deal. And it's very hard for me to watch Mahomes face Josh Allen this weekend or watch Jaden Daniels face Jalen Hurts this weekend and think Justin Fields or Russell Wilson are the answer. They're both fine. But I think when you care about stability over ultimate success, you feel stale. And that's Pittsburgh. Loyalty makes you blind to opportunity. And when Big Ben was aging, they did not address quarterback. They drafted one quarterback, Mason Rudolph, third round. Ben got upset, criticized him after the draft, and then they just pretended the future at quarterback didn't matter. They just buried their head. They have, for the last 3 years, the most expensive defense in the league, and they are projected next year for the fourth straight year to have the most expensive defense in the league. It's a defensive culture. They're a better version of the Bears, is that it's all about defense. They've just hit on some great quarterbacks. But, I mean, remember, when I say you have to move T.J. Watt or like a Cam Hayward, that level of player, they freak out. Well, what is it getting you? I watched you get housed by Baltimore, trailing 21-0. What does it get you? To trade George Pickens, who is not a leader. I'd rather have him, but I would move off of T.J. Watt. You guys went and paid big money for a safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick. And that year, your quarterback was Duck Hodges. New name for this franchise, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are a stale franchise. And our graphic department did an excellent job with a stale, moldy piece of bread on the helmet.
Yeah, there you have it. Stale, moldy piece of bread. That's who you are, Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. I want to take this in many different directions. We're gonna keep this chill. First and foremost, I want to start by just straight up asking the fans right off the bat, both general and, of course, true Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Do you want to move forward with Russ or Justin Fields? Is that what would make you happy, or do you want to go somewhere else with it? On one side, I totally understand what Colin is saying. You know, you talk about these other great quarterbacks, and I get it. But my question is, though, is where, you're watching Josh Allen go up against Mahomes and Jaden Daniels. And my question, though, is then, like, well, where are you getting this top quarterback? Where are you getting this talent? If you're making the argument that if you move on from T.J. Watt or something, that you're now be able to get, like, a top talent quarterback either through the draft or through some trade, which I don't even know what that would look like, quite honestly. I don't know what the answer is. Let's say Sam Darnold was available, who I think is really, really good quarterback, and you can definitely win games with him. I don't know if that's the answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers either, because you also have to really trust what you're doing offensively and what pieces do you have. It's a tricky situation. I do not think Justin Fields is a good enough quarterback, because I do believe it would have been obvious to that entire locker room, to the entire team, through practices, through everything. They would have been pushing to have Russ benched, to have Russ come out at halftime or something, especially when they went on their little bit of a losing streak. They did not do that. In fact, when Russ came into the lineup, they were excited. They were saying, like, this is what we want. So you can't keep going with this idea of, like, well, Justin Fields, because there's still that feeling of, like, potential. Doesn't appear to be there. It's just a reality. Doesn't appear to be there. Is he mobile? Is he really athletic? Is he young, so he's got a lot of energy and some jump to him? Absolutely. But it's just kind of misleading. There's lots of great athletes out there, fantastic athletes, and most of them cannot be quarterback in the NFL. The vast majority cannot be quarterback. So it's a little bit misleading to think that Justin Fields is just going to now suddenly be this great quarterback. It just feels virtually impossible. It really does. So, he would be showing signs Like, even how Sam Darnold ended up having a great year with the Minnesota Vikings, like, he showed signs of that with the 49ers. The 49ers wanted to keep him. They wanted him to stay, but they were like, no, like, we can't. We can't afford it, essentially. And we're trying to win a Super Bowl. And then Kevin O'Connell got him and was like, this guy's awesome. We love it. I know it didn't end how they wanted to, but, was clearly a great quarterback. Clearly was very successful. And if this team, if the Pittsburgh Steelers had an offensive culture with this great offensive head coach or offensive coordinator, whatever it is, and they really knew what to do, they really knew how to kind of build these teams offensively, then I think you could maybe win and have some success with Russ, with Justin Fields, etc. But that's not what they have, which is why I even question how successful they would even be with the Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold would work with the current OC for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I don't know. And I do think that Russ is pretty good. Russ was not the problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens. The offense as a whole was a problem, and the defense certainly couldn't stop the Baltimore Ravens. But it's not just like, oh, if we had a better quarterback, then we could have kept up with the Ravens. It's like, I don't know if that's true necessarily either. I don't know if you just put Patrick Mahomes on the Pittsburgh Steelers and now suddenly, boom, top team, going to the Super Bowl. That's not so clear to me. So I think there's a few things, a few options that the Steelers could kind of look towards. I think that in terms of offensively, if you're going to keep everything with Mike Tomlin, the Pittsburgh Steelers have to find their version of Spags to Andy Reid. They have to find that offensive coordinator who is great and who's going to be there for the long haul. And even if it was in the short term, like, they could have made a play for like a Cliff Kingsbury, and they didn't. And that was a problem. That was a mistake. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury even wanted to go there because of the quarterback situation. I'm not sure. But they have to figure out this offense. This offense has to be, because even with Russ, it was just moonball or nothing. That's just not going to work. You can win some regular season games, absolutely. It's not going to work in the playoffs. We saw a bunch of teams try to just do boom or bust, and it didn't work for them in the playoffs. It did not work for them. We saw it with the Steelers. We saw it with the Packers. We saw it with the Lions even against the Commanders. It doesn't work. You can win some regular season games, no doubt. But there needs to be more than that. But again, the Steelers are in this tough situation because I don't know what they do. It's like, even if you reach the conclusion, let's move on from Russ or Justin Fields, then like, where do you go? Where are you getting this quarterback? Are you hoping that you find a quarterback in the first round somewhere, like deeper, right? Like, that's not like a top pick. Like, where are you hoping to get a quarterback? And what offensive mind do you have instilled there that is going to then be able to work and develop a said quarterback? Not to mention, you already have enough of these seasoned veteran defensive players who really don't want to linger and wait around for some 23-year-old to develop. But when you think about what what the Commanders were able to do, they got a new defensive head coach, they got the new OC, they got the new quarterback, boom, NFC Championship game. So these things can happen fast, but you have to make the right moves. You have to have the right quarterback. You have to have the right coordinators or head coach, depending on what side of the ball we're talking about. Dan Quinn immediately made that defense better. Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels immediately made that offense better. But there was just more concrete decisions that needed to be made. Pittsburgh Steelers could have went out and got Derrick Henry. They could have gotten Saquon Barkley. They could have done those things. And they didn't. So that's why this can't also just be reduced to just like, well, who's the quarterback? If we get a good quarterback, we'll finally be a better team. You got to start making better decisions too. You got to build a better team. The quarterback, no doubt. The coordinator, no doubt. but it's also some of these other little pieces, these other moves. The Eagles going out and getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Saquon, drafting Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, like concrete moves. The Chiefs went out and got DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. Like, think about the moves that the two Super Bowl appearing teams made, and then now compare it to moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers made. Their big moves were Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and it was like kind of like, who's going to start? We don't know. So it's just a little bit of a different situation. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers just have to find their way to be aggressive. And that doesn't mean move on from Mike Tomlin. I know that seems to be the debate, but it doesn't feel like that the Steelers are going to move on from Mike Tomlin, and I'm not even advocating that they should or shouldn't. I'm kind of looking at it through the lens where it's like, okay, they're going to keep Mike Tomlin, so what can the Pittsburgh Steelers do to be the best team that they can be? And it does. It involves a lot of aggressive moves. And I think if I felt more confident from, and again, it's not that I think the coordinator for Pittsburgh is bad, but I don't know. I mean, I understand that Justin Fields is kind of limited, so I'm just like, I don't know what the offense really looked like with him. It was definitely limited, which again, you can blame Justin Fields. But then even with Russ, it was just so much boom or bust. And when I see offenses look like that, I'm kind of like, I don't know how to make sense of that, because it's just obviously not going to work. And again, maybe then that's technically another limitation of Russ, but I struggle to see why. Like I don't know. I don't know. And that again, that's the hardest part. When you don't have a bona fide offensive head coach that you really trust, that you can say, okay, he's going to tell us what to do with our quarterback situation. He's going to let us know, okay, we got to move on. We got to draft. Or you know what? I love what Sam Darnold can do. He has a very specific skill set that I absolutely know how to maximize. That's what Shanahan did. That's what Kevin O'Connell did. That's why Shanahan's like, you know what? Love Brock Purdy. Yeah, Brock Purdy is not Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't matter. Brock Purdy does exactly what I need him to do, and he runs my offense exactly how I want it. And guess what? We win a lot of games. When we're actually healthy, we win a lot of games. We go to back-to-back NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. Like, that's the confidence that you need from an offensive standpoint to be able to make some of these decisions. Otherwise, you're caught guessing. And that's kind of a similar problem that the Dallas Cowboys find them in, where it's like, the Cowboys keep coming up short. Is it Mike McCarthy? Is it Dak Prescott? Where is it going to be? Is Jerry Jones the problem? Like, it's harder. It's harder to figure it out. Where if you had Sean McVay as the coach, and Sean McVay's like, I got to move on. I got to move on from Jared Goff. I can win right now, but I need a quarterback who can do more of the things that I need him to do. Get me Stafford. But again, it's not just a matter of getting Stafford. It was, let's get Stafford, let's get OBJ, let's get Von Miller. Aggressive moves. And then Stafford's high-level football connecting with McVay, boom. You get to take advantage of all the other moves. You have a no-look pass to Cooper Kupp. You have OBJ go off for, I think, like over 100 yards or near. I mean, he got injured in that Super Bowl, but big-time contributor. So you got to find the aggressive moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers can make. And again, I'm not acting like I know exactly what they are, but it's just obvious that it's more than just like, all right, we're going to reinforce our defense and, we're going to run it back with just Russ. Like, you'll be a competent team. You'll be a pretty good team. But it's just like, you obviously want more than that. You want more than that. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? What do you think they should do? Do you think they need a change at the quarterback? And even if they got to change at the quarterback position, again, like, who would it be? Where would you go? And if you got it, do you have the offensive culture and moves to even maximize that? Like, if you had Jaden Daniels right now, like, would you even be able to maximize the offense in a way that would lead to more productive wins where you could then beat the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, etc.? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.